Hello friends. Last week I participated in a monthly catch-up call with some of my peer coaches. We're all trying to do the same thing, which is to grow our coaching businesses and help people. These catch-up calls are a great opportunity for us to share ideas, success stories, and learning moments, and more importantly, to coach each other. Just because we're coaches doesn't mean we don't need coaching. The reason I mention this call is that I experienced a remarkable shift as a result of the conversation. We were talking about eating habits and trying to eat healthy and the role that our upbringing and conditioning has on us. One of my peers was sharing a story about how she'd grown up on a farm and always had lots of baked goods around, and how that abundance created an obligation to consume things that were the result of all their hard work. Her story led me to share my own story, a story that I'd shared many times before in other contexts. This time, something new showed up for me. What I shared was that when I was growing up, we knew it had to be payday soon because the fridge and the cupboards were getting empty. We grew up living paycheck to paycheck on a tight budget. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, which was amazing in a lot of respects, but it meant that we survived on only one income. We weren't in poverty, but we didn't have anything extra. Every 2 weeks on payday, we'd be treated to what we considered a big night out at the local mall's food court. After dinner, my parents would do the grocery shopping. In the ensuing days, all the good stuff would be eaten on a get-it-while-you-can basis. As the final days until the next payday came upon us, there was less options and less food in general. We had to make do and stretch what we had until the cycle started all over again. For the first time, I realized that this pattern of thinking still persisted in my life today, even though financially my situation is much different. I've had this thinking around food that it's a treat, it's scarce, gorge while you can, and get your share before it's gone. A number of us on the call had mentioned that potato chips, or crisps as my UK friends refer to them, are one of our nemesis foods. I can go stretches without having them, but I eventually give in, and when I do, I can hardly resist eating the whole bag. Funnily enough, since this conversation, something has shifted for me, and I haven't had chips in over 10 days. In fact, for most of those 10 days, I haven't craved them or even thought about them. I went to the grocery store yesterday, and despite being in the chip aisle to get something for my son, I didn't even think about buying chips. My mentor Jamie Smart is always reminding me that people always do what makes sense to them at their current level of understanding. In some way, eating chips and living out of the thinking that was created in my upbringing had made sense to me. That is, until this recent conversation with my coaching peers. Something in that conversation led me to have an insight and a subsequent change in my understanding. When you have an insight, it's like getting an update to your operating system. Your underlying structure is different, and you now do what makes sense to you at your new level of understanding. An important thing to point out is that you don't have to intellectually understand or unravel what has happened. You can just enjoy the new upgrade and move along with your life. Ironically, if you spend time dissecting the insight and its effect, you'll in all likelihood undo the update and find yourself back to your previous settings. This story, in a nutshell, illustrates the power of coaching, how a simple conversation leads to an insight which changes your level of understanding, which begets a new set of behaviors aligned with your new understanding. It's almost effortless and automatic. If you're interested in learning more about coaching and how it can help you have insights of your own, visit me on coachingplease.com or send me a message. Thanks for listening. Now go unleash your potential.